Hi, this is Lee Davis with the Machine, and we're with my friend Garrett, and we're going to talk about Pompeii and basically the life of the people. And we're just going to talk about the things that the Romans did here, and that day that in 79 A.D. When Pompeii erupted. So. Hey, Garrett, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. So this right here would be, Garrett, don't you think this is more of a place where the Romans could relax, more like kind of seems to me like a field or something. Like a field
Um,
of, where people could,
yeah.
yeah. Of course you can't walk into it now, but probably this place was a place where many Romans would stand and listen to the person speak on the rostra or the
Speakers platform is what
speakers.
it stands for.
And basically, like, it would probably be something like that. And Garrett was referring to over near where these white columns are, not the ones on the left. The columns on the left are probably for something um, for like shade. It would go over to the other side for shade. And we also came to the conclusion that this was probably a really busy area, and it's a really beautiful place. But we still have yet to find what these are. Garrett, do you think these are probably like tombs or something?
I'm doubtful those will be tombs because they're just in the middle of they're in the middle of town.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not sure what those are.
Um, well, this is basically this was probably this is the center of the town, and it was probably a really busy place for shop owners, and so basically this was probably a really busy part of town. I'm gonna go back out.
This would also be where people would come if they had speeches to give to the Roman public. They would have stood on the rostra, which was, I don't know if you all could see, but it's at the end of that field. It's a platform that you can walk up on, and they would go and give speeches. Probably the most famous speech would have been the one where, for anyone who has history um, in Latin, would have been where Brutus um, ends ends the rule of kings after Tarquinius Superbus uh, was forced out of town,
Mm-hmm.
out of
Um, right now we're just looking above Pompeii. Um, the it's basic. It's a really large. It was probably a really large, busy city. Um, and
Rome. It was a
it was probably a really great place to live. Back in those times. So right now, I'm going to go to a certain street. Let's just look at this one, and it's just it's just a street, and probably a lot of these were just a bunch of shops along the way, and we don't understand today what that this is such a big place and so much architecture, but we really don't see it because a lot of it's gone. And I don't know what it would have been like if the thing hadn't happened. Probably the same thing. It's a little bit less like this, but
it would probably um, be almost completely gone
yeah,
if it hadn't been covered. That's why this is such an important place.
yeah. This is a little staircase here. I thought this was pretty cool, and another thing is the bricks. It's just really cool. Um, let's see what this is. You can see that a lot of the roofs they have on here weren't made, like a long time ago. These roofs were probably made by the people after they excavated it. Right, Garrett?
Yes, probably.
Because trying to
A lot of
support.
the roofs on the buildings here were probably the most complete buildings they could find. Them putting roofs on them to see what the house would actually look like.
Yeah. This is the house, a famous house. And this is, well, we just missed it. This house right here is very famous because it's called Casa del Poena Tragido, and it's basically where we have heard of the saying Cav Canum, which means beware of the dogs. I mean the mosaic, and it's pretty cool. But here's something cool. This is probably a place of public, probably a washing place or something, right, Garrett? And it looks like.
Well, I wish we could get a closer view. That might be. That's hard to say. It could be a restroom. It could be anything, really.
Well, here's
a lot of the buildings along the street were shops that people lived at.
Here's it says something here. Thermopolium Coepuna.
Oh.
It's probably a what?
Thermopolium would probably have been it could have been a bathhouse.
Yeah, a bathhouse. Pots and all that kind of stuff. This was yeah. And if you go to Pompeii, all these things are labeled, all these places are labeled, but back to this house, you can see it was such a big house. We can't really look down it right now, but you can see that this entryway was pretty big. I can't imagine just walking into a house like that.
A lot of people nowadays don't have houses that big.
Yeah. This is that says something about, let's see. Is that a domus? Does that say domus again?
I can't really.
Oh, okay. Well, we're at the Zoom meeting at this. Well, I think I went past some. Well, this. Here we go.
Sign on just past.
Did again.
Saying before, like a lot of the designed, and you would just walk and go get whatever you needed.
Well,
they were everywhere.
Well, thank you, Garrett, and those are all the things we have observed for this part 1 of rediscovering Pompeii, and we'll come back on tonight and do part 2 of rediscovering Pompeii, and we'll look at everything else. So thanks, Garrett.
No problem.
Okay.